Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Camden High School. As we begin the 2014-2015 school season here with our Camden Public Schools, I am Mayor Dana Redd, and pleased to welcome each and every one of you as we make today's announcement for reforming our school district and providing additional safety measures. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge several of our dignitaries who have come to join us this morning, starting with our superintendent of the district, Mr. Camden Rouhanifard, our advisory board president, Ms. Catherine Blackshear, Vice President Martha Wilson, advisory board members, Minister Wasim Muhammad, Taisha Munir, Teresa Atwood, Jose M. Brito Bueno, Board Member Dorothy A. Burley, Board Member Barbara Coscarella. Certainly representing the second ward, we have our councilman who has joined us this morning, Mr. Brian Coleman, and representing our chief, John Scott Thompson, and whom you will be hearing from momentarily, will be Captain Gabriel Camacho. Also seated on the stage this morning is the Executive Director of School Safety and Support, Mr. Tony Bland, and last but certainly not least, our District Parent Advisory Council President, Ms. Loretta Gooden. Let's give everyone a round of applause. And we look forward to welcoming our students, our parents, and educators as they prepare to come back to school. Making the city of Camden safe for my residents has and will remain my #1 priority as mayor. Since assuming office in 2010, I can tell you that we have made significant strides to improve public safety and in turn enhancing the quality of life for our residents, and we're still working on that paradigm. This emphasis on public safety began with not only securing crime-fighting technology, but also with the formation of the Camden County Metro Police. And at this time, we are pleased to report out that the new force has nearly 400 men and women who are trained to make our citizens safe and to keep our city safe, not only with the technology that we've secured, the Eye in the Sky camera policing program, but also with community engagement and working closely with our Congress of resident, faith-based, and community-based organizations. Much of this work has happened under the leadership of our Camden County Police Chief, John Scott Thompson, and the Metro Police, the men and women that serve us each and every day, putting service before self. We are very grateful for their work and their continued collaboration with the citizens of the city, and I think they all deserve a round of applause. We know that little else matters if you can't walk down the street, step out of your front door, or attend school without fear of being a victim of crime. And because of the strong collaborations between my office, the Camden County Police Department, our Camden City Public Schools, and the community, new measures are being taken today to ensure that Camden students are safe on their journey to and from school, and that they arrive ready to learn in a secure and motivating school environment. Today's announcement is yet another critical step towards fulfilling our commitment to the children and families of Camden, towards improving our schools and making our schools safer. It certainly is fitting that today's event brings us all together because safety truly is a collaborative effort. And we ask that aside from the families that are already involved through the District Parent Council, that more families and community members become involved in our efforts to improve safety and learning for our youth. The measures that we will highlight today both include community involvement and high-tech solutions. Some of the programs that you will hear highlighted today include the Security Technology Pilot that will enable schools to improve safety and security district-wide, with both Camden High School and Woodrow Wilson High School buildings being equipped with new security doors, cameras, access cards, and integration of existing alarm systems. You will also hear today our Safe Corridor to Schools program. Again, creating those passageways for our children to get to school in the morning and to arrive safely home in the evening. We will also talk about the Parent Ranger program, which quite frankly is a call to service for parents and guardians to support our Safe Corridor to School program by volunteering to serve as Parent Rangers. Our volunteers would be from the community, deployed along the Safe Corridor routes, again, to assure safe passage for our students. And these volunteers, again, will be working with our Camden City Public School System. And just to put the number out for which to reach in, it will be the Camden City School District Solution Center at 856-966-2000, extension 38109. And then finally, as we ramp up our efforts for public safety, we will also be scaffolding in safe havens to include not just our firehouses and our schools, but certainly use of our faith-based institutions who have been supporting our students citywide. So all of these efforts, again, have come about as a result of a collaboration of not just my office, but certainly with the Camden City Public Schools, our Camden County Police Department, and the community at large. So I want to thank everyone in advance for working so hard, for believing in the endless possibilities of what we can do with the power of we, believing in our children, youth, and families, and we know that we still have work to do, along with our superintendent, to support the reforms that make education in this environment here in Camden City one that is of a 21st century high-quality environment for our young people to learn. So may God continue to look favorably upon our city, upon our children, youth, and families as we continue this endeavor to stand our city up and move Camden forward. It now gives me great honor and privilege to introduce a young man who was born and raised in the city of Camden, still has family roots here, and has decided on a career in public service that is more than just a career, but is his way of giving back to the city of his birth. Representing Chief John Scott Thompson today is Captain Gabe Camacho. Please welcome him at this time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I think it's very important, as the mayor indicated, this was a collaboration, this was a partnership, this was a true partnership. So often partnerships are just at the beginning stages and everything kind of veers off. This is a true partnership, as we're members of the Camden County Police Department are going to be meeting weekly with members of the Camden City School District. We've aligned our leadership to also be aligned with their leadership. So as far as information is being carried from one end to the other, but it's clear and it's open channels of communication. We're going to be working together with the Safe Corridors, which is key. I, as a person who went to school in Camden City, in Woodrow Wilson, class of '91, it was, I can see me as a student, the concerns of concentrating on school, on things in school while I'm at school, and also as a parent now, as far as, is my child safe in the school? And I think this is key, this is something paramount, and it goes to say the partnership, not only for the police department, the school district, and the city, but everybody working together jointly. I think this is something that is going to be a blueprint for other places, because I think the most important resource we have in this city are our children. Their safety is paramount, and I think working together as a community is the true way of getting our children to school to get a good education. I think of a quote from Gandhi when he says, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the call for service of others. Well, that call for service, I think, will be better enhanced for our children by having that safety in school so they can concentrate and focus on education rather than getting safe to school. And once again, it is a partnership, and as the mayor has always continued to indicate, it's not the school district, the police department, and the mayor's office. It's all of us, because all of us together, we make up this community. Thank you for having me here, and I'm proud to be part of this. Thank you. With that, I would like to introduce Advisory Board President Catherine Blackshear.
Good morning. My name is Catherine Blackshear. I'm the president of the advisory board. As Captain Camacho and Mayor Red have shared, the district is now working more closely with City Hall and the police department to make student safety a joint priority. When our schools open their doors in less than 2 weeks, I believe that everyone will have the chance to see some of the good things the district, the police department, and the mayor's office have done to improve school safety and to raise standards for students across the city this year. And I know that last year had a lot of changes for everyone in our community, from the teachers to our families to our communities, and most of all, to our students. And I know that changes has not always been easy, and we don't easily embrace changes. And I know that as the advisory board president, I want to share how much confidence that I have and the advisory board have in the work that the superintendent, Mr. Paymont, I mess up his last name, so I stick with Mr. Paymont, and his team are doing to make good on their commitment to providing all of Camden children access to an excellent school, not a good school, but an excellent school. As you will hear from our superintendent, we will all continue to work in schools this year to give principals, teachers, and school security officers support that they need to make students our top priority, and students to learn in a secure classroom and challenging with their curriculum. And we know it will take a village to provide this for every child in Camden. So you can expect to hear from me and my board colleagues throughout the year about our progress to make our schools great for everyone who comes through our doors. Thank you. And I would like to also say that you will have the advisory board personal commitment that we are all in this together. Thank you. Oh, I'd like to introduce the superintendent.
No problem. Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. Thank you, Mayor Red, Captain Camacho, our advisory board members, elected officials that are here today. I also want to acknowledge Principal James Thompson from Camden High School. You'll hear from him in a minute, and Loretta Gooden, who's the president of the District Parent Advisory Council. So school starts in 12 days, and we couldn't be more excited. And what we're doing this summer is really building on the progress we made over the past year to continue to improve our schools and to ensure that our students are safe in our buildings going to and from school. And you certainly heard that commitment from Camden County Police Department and, of course, Mayor Red. And that's why we're so excited to be able to announce the initiatives here today. I want to just take a step back and remind ourselves how we got here. So it was approximately a year ago that I was appointed, and I initiated a 100-day listening tour. And what we heard time and time again from students and families, when it comes to choosing a school, there's one factor that trumps everything else, and that's school safety. So we knew safety was a concern from the outset. We then built a 5-part strategic plan made up of 5 critical promises, and the first promise was safe students, safe schools. And in February, we announced a district-wide safety plan. And today, we're announcing the most recent initiatives coming out of that 5-point safety plan. And that includes our high-tech security pilot, and you're going to hear more about that today. So at our 2 biggest high schools, Camden High being one of them, Woodrow Wilson being the other, this high-tech security pilot program will help us take dramatic steps to improve the safety of our students and our staff. At Camden High, here, there are over 80 points in the building where you can enter and exit. It's a huge building, and maintaining safety for everyone inside of it is critical. So those points of entrance and exit, we call points of egress, need to be secured and monitored at all times. And we can't have people walking in and out of dozens of points of the building unmonitored and unsecured. And so our focus is to concentrate students and staff along fewer main points in and out of the building so that public safety officers and the staff here can do their job more efficiently and more effectively. This high-tech pilot is going to utilize technology to integrate smart doors and smart cameras into our 2 high schools, so that if those doors stay open and somebody were to enter or leave the building inappropriately, a camera would be able to monitor that activity to ensure, again, the safety of our students and staff. The pilot also makes use of swipe cards or badges that will control access to those entering and exiting the building, and staff members of both schools are currently being trained on this technology. So this high-tech security pilot program is just one of several initiatives that we're rolling out for the new school year. We have reinvigorated, as you heard from Mayor Redd, our Safe Corridors program, which we've done in partnership with both the Office of the Mayor and the Camden County Police Department, and we've unveiled new maps that lay out the safe corridors in each of our schools, and they're going to be posted at the entranceways come first day of school, September the 2nd. Copies of these, as I mentioned, the copies will be posted at the entranceways. In addition, we're making another announcement in the coming weeks, and you heard Mayor Redd allude to this, and that's the Parent Ranger program, which is an effort to really empower the local community to support the Safe Corridors initiative. And thanks to the leadership of Advisory Board Vice President Martha Wilson and District Parent Advisory Council President Loretta Gooden, the Office of School Safety and the Division of Family and Community Engagement together are partnering on this volunteer drive that will train parents in order to monitor the safe corridor routes. Moreover, I'm pleased to say that we're taking a pilot program called Positive Behavior Program in Schools, which is expanding to 4 schools for this upcoming school year. And that's a pilot that really allows us, the statewide program that allows us to emphasize praising positive behavior in our schools rather than being overly punitive. And that's really the direction we're heading across the entire district. Students need to be in school, students need to be supported, and students need to feel love and not fear. By moving away from a punitive approach and towards restorative justice, we are sending a signal to our students and our families that we care about you, we value your education, and we want you to be in school. And that's why we changed our 10-day suspension policy earlier this year, and that's why we're moving forward with all of these initiatives. I'm thrilled for the upcoming school year, and I've said this time and time again, no one person can do this alone, and I stand with dozens of committed stakeholders here in this city to move forward, to do the critically hard work to improve our school system. It's now my pleasure to be able to introduce the principal of Camden High School, Principal James Thompson.
All right, good morning. So I have the distinct advantage of being able to have experienced Camden High School as a student, graduating as a part of the class of '97, and being able to come back and be principal of Camden High School. I remember the times when I was at Camden High, and there weren't a lot of the things to worry about that we have to worry about today. You were able to just be a student and come to school, do what you were supposed to do, and enjoy being a student. As times have changed, the need for additional measures to make sure that our students are safe and are not only safe in school, but making it home have become necessary. And we've already had a great relationship here at Camden High with the Camden the Camden County Police Department, as well as support from central administration, but this is just an additional tier to make sure that our students have everything that they need to be able to be where they need to be in the classrooms, receiving what they should be receiving, which is their education. I believe that this will allow Camden High School to reestablish itself as the premier high school in the city of Camden, and additionally, I believe that with these things in place, the additional security measures in place at the high school, we will be able to make sure that on many levels the students are safe, but also they're where they're supposed to be. So I am definitely appreciative that we were able to be a pilot for this particular program, and I look forward to seeing how it positively affects what happens at Camden High School. Thank you.
So this concludes the formal part of the press conference. We are going to gather right over here to my right to then begin a tour of the actual pilot program. It's going to be led by Anthony Bland, our Director of School Safety. I want to just quickly say a few things about Anthony. So it was, again, as I mentioned in the 100-day listening tour, pretty clear to me that school safety was a big priority. We had a vacancy in that position, the head of school safety, and we looked far and wide for the best person we can find. There's no one better in this role than Anthony Bland. We put the full recruitment pitch to get him down to Camden. It was like Cleveland going back after LeBron. We wanted to make sure we got him. He said no to us the first time. He came, finally said yes as we kept asking him. I mean, he's the real deal. We're thrilled to have him on the team, and he's going to lead the tour here of the facility. We'll also be happy to take questions as we go about the tour. So thank you all for being here again today, and we'll be happy to take any more questions over here to my right.
I'm going to take you on the tour. Just so you know, it's really going to be a three-pronged tour. I'm just going to show you some stuff from the cameras here. We'll walk outside into the main foyer so you can see some alarm systems, and then we'll go outside to show you some cameras. We will not tell you every single camera we have because I'm sure Captain Camacho will agree we can't give all operations of what takes place. You'll hear certain things such as straight line cameras. You'll also hear stuff such as dome cameras. You'll begin to see as we go along the tour, you'll understand what that means. Right here, you can see right here this camera. This camera we have is a new Panasonic camera, and what it looks like is it has the ability to zoom. Previously, we had straight line cameras where you could only see one visual and you couldn't see around a particular area. So this camera gives you a semi-panoramic view to see what happens over here and everything to this particular area. There's also a camera on the other side that shows you the same thing. So now we almost have almost 180-degree to a 260-degree angle of view of what's taking place in the auditorium. And then we have exterior cameras that you'll see there as well. These cameras are also non-analog, so we have digital cameras, they're IP cameras, which gives you a better resolution. That's one of the #1 things we need. So previously, and I'll take you downstairs, you'll see, we had more analog than digital IP cameras, and now it gives us better resolution. It's similar to when you look at your phone and your phone is updated with more megapixel, it's the same thing for us that we can see here. And then this is in order to ensure the safety of our students. So I'll take you to the back. So what you'll see right here is a new alarm system that we have. As Superintendent Rouhanifard mentioned, we want to make sure that we can monitor those particular doors that are opening for anything. Basically what you can see here is if a door or a breach happens, it'll come up and it'll say door 1, door 2, and the building is mapped based on these particular alarms. So Fortress is in here. We soon will have the ability to swipe if a security officer or building administrator wants to say there's no breach or the breach is something to a different effect. This particular system right here has anywhere between 200 to 500 different functions. It can tell us about water temperature. We can determine the different zones of the buildings we want to shut down, and no different, if the water temperature in a particular annex increases, it'll be able to detect an alarm. All detections from here will go to our computer system where we have high resolution cameras, and then we have to denote what takes place or we have to mitigate those particular items. If we can continue on. So as we're walking, you can see some of the cameras here. These cameras give us what's called a high view, almost a 360 view. They're not as long as the direct bullet camera, but it gives us a different type of view. And you can look up and you'll see multiple cameras as we go along the tour. So what you can see right here, if you can see this camera to my left, this is one of our old analog cameras. So if you can see the box, it gives you that direct sight. It doesn't give you a 360-degree view, and it takes up a lot of space. Now you see the new Panasonic camera. It gives you 180 almost with an extended view, and it's also smaller, so it's not taking up as much equipment, and you really can see the difference. It also goes back to the distortion of quality. On our old cameras, when you pull up a picture and you zoom in, it becomes distorted. On our new cameras, which would have digital and IP, when you zoom in, it gives you a better picture. So if you're looking at, for example, a license plate, previously it would become blurry. Now, if you pull it up, you'll be able to see extra numbers or a complete license plate. I'm going to take you outside. So this is one of the main areas where our students will be coming into the building. As you can see, we will have a camera there for entrance. That is what's called a bullet camera. right? That camera is weatherproof, and if anybody remembers, we had a very difficult winter last year, so we had to make sure they were weather resistant. I don't know if any camera can take the winter we had, but these are almost protection and weatherproof. And it gives you a different, I think these are about 3 megapixels, as you can see here, and it gives you a direct line of sight here into the area. Also across, right, as you can see where I'm pointing, I'm not going to walk all the way down there. We have another bullet camera, and that gives us a cross-section of looking at the entrance of the door. Furthermore, we have one additional camera right here. So this camera gives us a full 180-degree view of the street, of the entrance, and at night it gives us a 200-foot view across this particular corridor. So this particular camera is different than the bullet camera that I showed you, and it goes 200 feet, including at night, and it gives you a panoramic view.
Who sees the images?
Who sees the images?
Do you see them in your office?
I can see them. We have special software called Exactivision. Our security officers, we have a surveillance room, and our school administrators can see them on their desktops as well.
So what kind of reaction will happen if there is an activity seen or pops up on your handheld? What kind of reaction time can we expect? How many officers are going to show up?
It depends on what the issue is. So for example, a security officer can be deployed right away. We have officers here initially when students are coming into the building and exiting the building.
Cameras are reactive. They show what happened and not, how to protect it. So
Correct.
You know that.
Right. So our officers will be deployed based on the camera. We have someone that'll be in the surveillance room. They take shifts.
Okay.
So basically, you don't want anyone watching a camera more than an hour and 45 minutes. So our security officers, those that will be trained and those that are currently using the system, will take shifts. They will detonate from their computer of what is taking place. This is where we're having some sort of incident or alert.
And where is the surveillance office?
It's upstairs on the first floor.
Can we see the principal's office?
Yes, they'll be able to see it. The principals can see it from the desktop, and some of the alarm systems will be able to, if it's correct, you can see it on your iPad as well. Just want to show you what the swipe card system looks like.
The surveillance room.
Can they see the surveillance room?
We see it, yeah.
Not today. We're not going to the surveillance room. We just want to show our cameras and then the access gate. So right here is the swipe camera, the swipe system. So we will be badging staff at Woodrow Wilson. We will be badging staff at Camden. This will be the swipe system, and then there's it egresses the points, and that's how you'll be accessed into the building. It's a soft little push of how the door opens. The students will have swipe cards as well. This will be in 2 stages. Staff will be stage 1, and then students will be stage 2. This is hopefully will be implemented in the fall.
Is there a door checker and a physical person to check the door is latched because of, when you see a monitor,
Sure.
you see the latch is latched on a computer, but yet somebody put a piece of tape over the little latch because, ingenuity built this country. And the door's latched, the alarm's set, and yet the door's open.
Right. Our security officers walk the building in zones. So
They grab the door. They grab the door
Yes,
and check it.
they will
Make
grab
sure
the
they
door.
grab the door and check it.
Right, and it's also mapped, and I don't know if you remember I was saying, so every alarm, every monitor, every camera is mapped to the door, so when they do their sweeps in the zone, so second floor
A
has
lot of
a
reaction time from a guy watching to the door, to entrance, to abduction, to threat, a lot of time.
Sure. And all of these items are to mitigate particular items. There will still be gaps at every particular school district. There are other school districts within the state of New Jersey, also in Pennsylvania, using similar technology to trend towards how we can make our community safer and making sure that we can redeploy our officers and make sure, as Principal Thompson said, that our principals can now get back.
We need more personnel in addition to these technologies you're putting in place, but it's a great start.
Gotcha.
And can you show us the e-card?
Sure.
Use that one more time for
Yes.
us?
And then just to show you quickly, it's just a slight difference, but it's very important. So this particular card I have is just a regular ID card. Some people have it at their particular job or occupation. And then this one is a little different based on the scans, the scanners on the back. And it's just a simple approach.
How much did the system cost?
So overall, one of the questions was how much the project was. It was a little over $1 million, about $1.4 million. And it was paid for with both local and federal funds. And what is the trend that's going on across the nation, across the state? The second is we already know that a large building, whether it's Camden High School or if it's our school district building, when you have that many points of egress, you have to do something to enhance and ensure the safety of your particular population, whether it's school district staff or students. And I just want to make sure I qualify. It's not just about students. It's about students. It's about staff members. It's about volunteers that will be interacting with our building, key stakeholders, so they can feel in a safer environment. If I didn't consistently say all those individuals that interact with our students. I just wanted to show everyone just a last point of interest. We had the swipe card at that particular door for the students. This is another, you can't see here, but there's another entrance right here where staff and students will come in eventually to this particular door. We have a cross-section of bullet cameras right there. And then there's some other cameras outside on the building as well. If you look further down to the left and to the right.
You can't say in total how many cameras there are?
Can I say?
Can you say in total how many cameras there are?
I would not like to say how many cameras, but what I can tell you is that we have 100% increase of cameras in both buildings. We have 100% increase of smart cameras moving from analog to digital.
In your role with the state, did you see similar implications of this safety program, and how did it work out?
Yes, we definitely saw across the state many schools were shifting to enhancing safety by using cameras. It also helped them to mitigate, to plan, and also to recover from any particular incident. And in addition, I think this is a step in really the right direction, as the mayor said earlier. It's about keeping the eye on Camden and making sure we are enhancing the safe learning environment. It's not just about cameras, but it's about enhancing the learning environment so our kids can get back to that rigor that they need to have.
Phil, you could argue it's long overdue.
Any other questions?
So did you say that students will also have cards, access cards that they'll be using?
Correct.
So every student will get one card that they'll need to get in?
Correct.
What if they lose it?
The first phase will be for our staff. The second phase will be for our students.
When will the second phase start?
When will the second? It will be later this fall.
Never mind.
I just want to say later this fall.
Will the cards activate and let people, the staff, know if someone leaves the premises? Is it smart card?
It is a smart card for certain doors. They're all based on doors.
So if they leave through the door, it won't tell somebody they left early or split school?
No, it will within an extent. It'll say that this door, door 7, has been opened, and then we can see who
To enter, that's the enter.
To enter and
So
exit.
that could and exit.
Right.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
You'll be able to see when children leave.
Right, so if, for example, for earlier this morning, I'll give everyone an anecdote. I was here early this morning. I swiped in my card, and then our vendor, CM3, said, "Who is that man standing at the door?" And they realized it was me. And if you can see, they'll probably show you a picture of me. I didn't have my jacket on, showing me entering the building. So when there was a breach of security, I was the breach this morning, and it was able to identify. When we look at our camera systems and we continue with enhanced training, each door that is mapped tells us that there's a door open, and then you can go back and click on the alert to tell you who that. You can look and assess who that particular person is.
Any other information on that card about the student?
No.
It's an entrance and exit.
And what's preventing a student from, say, giving their card to someone from outside of the school and walking in a large group, one person swipes?
What's preventing? That is a standard gap. No different than what it takes you from taking your ATM card. I take it and I can use it. Right? But it's about the full enhancement of the building, and we are ensuring that, look, we're 80, 90, 100% better than we're enhancing, but there will still be gaps. So we can do everything we want to this building. It does not stop democracy and free-flowing of individuals into a building.
Does the card identify them too? So when I swipe this, it say, Phil Dunn just swiped in?
Yes, you'll be able to identify that. Yes, you will.
How would you characterize how safe this building is now compared to what it was before the system was put in place?
When I came into the building consistently before I was a staff member here, I felt the building was safe. I always saw security officers here, Principal Thompson. What you will see now is you'll see us being alerted to identifying exactly where breaches and gaps are. That'll be the difference. We used to have personnel to be at every particular place. Now we can redeploy personnel to different areas, different parts of the building. So this is a very large building. If you're coming all the way from the annex, you need to make sure, I don't have to deploy you to that particular area. It is not a true breach or gap. where now we have cameras to enhance and to help in those particular environments.
So before he joined the district, he was the state director of safety, and he actually worked with the district to help refresh all the school safety plans. So that's the district he's referring to there.
Do you know how many other school districts have the system, or
This particular system, there
or something similar?
Oh, many school districts.
How many?
There are over. We have. I don't know how many people know this, but we have over 560 school districts in
Yeah,
the state
we
of
know
New Jersey. And so I would say there are over 100 school districts that have this particular cameras and software. I do know from North Jersey to South Jersey as well, including over the bridge in Philadelphia and I believe Delaware, they have a similar camera system and/or the same exact system.
So what kind of penalties would there be for students who lose their cards?
The penalties will be the same of if you left school or if you didn't leave school. The only difference is we have a better detection to monitor. We have more evidence, and I would use it for evidence. I don't know if they'll automatically be suspended. That's a question that we can answer later. We want to keep students in school as much as possible.
It's the same.
What do you, okay. When we're talking about the technology, what would you say is like the most high-tech thing about this entire system? Can you kind of explain what that is?
I think one of the most, there are two. I think it's the ability, when I showed you the one camera on the outside, that it gives you the 180-degree panoramic view. That camera also has 20 megapixel. That is, I think, state-of-the-art. It's something that can help us, not just us, but also the Camden County Police Department and our officers. And our ability to know what doors have been opened is important. Because when it was just due to people power of monitoring doors, now we really know what door it is that's open. So whether it's on the surveillance camera system or on the alert alarm that we have here, that is what is transcending and will take us to another place.
Picture's worth 1,000 words.
One last question. On the press release, it says it's a pilot program. Is there another layer of security that's going to be put into place after this? Or?
It's not a layer of security. The word pilot is, this is the first time we're doing this. We have to look at further assessments to say, you know what, we need more cards, we need less cards, we need to change the angle of the cameras, we need to assess many different things. Nothing is to say it's perfect, but it's about that we are fair and we will go back and mitigate anything that we can find.
So maybe a future thing will be a photo.
All right, thanks everybody.